Do you face any of that stuff, or do you deal with it in a neutral way, as you were mentioning earlier, when it comes to other things?
Yeah. So I mean, as far as the software works, right? We do everything we can to eliminate bias,
Hmm.
and we still recognize that it's going to exist, especially in the world where um, we live in. And so we're as if there's humans, bias exists, and
Hmm.
so right, we do everything we can and continually working to mitigate that.
Yeah.
Um, and we help as we interact with customers, helping them recognize, hey, look, outside of this software, you are going to have bias as you hire. Like you need to be mindful of what is useful bias and what is not. And there's bias and there's discrimination. And we are in no way endorse any sort of discrimination and prejudice, and recognize, hey, there's some bias that's useful.
Yeah. Also what I noticed as well, like when you walk into a brand new company, or a company that you're working with happen to be, you want them to be your customer, you want to work with them, and then you walk into them and you say, well, you know what? I noticed your culture is broken. Your leadership is messy. I think let's start with that. Do you ever coach upward? I don't know how you're going to call it, right? You coach upward. How do you do
Yes.
that?
Yeah, so we've lost potential customers when we come in and we say, "Hey, we're going to get accurate on what your culture is through this," and somebody will be like, "Hey, look, our CEO really does not. He thinks he knows, and it is not what he thinks it is. The culture here is not great. We can't go with you. Like this will turn out really bad for all of us." um, but yeah, all of the time, right? And it's helping somebody recognize that, hey, the best way to make improvements is to get accurate and to
Yeah.
recognize how things actually are, and kind of remove some of the emotion, um, and understand that, hey, look, like it's not all one person's fault. The culture is it's a collective thing. It's people, if a manager yells at somebody and nobody says anything, that has become like it's allowed, that's part of the culture. And
Yeah.
so, but it could have been anybody who said, hey, like that's not okay to treat them like that. Or the same of somebody is walking and they trip and their coffee spills on the ground, and everybody just looks at them and nobody gets up to help. Like, cool, but that's the culture
Yeah.
now. Versus
That's
one
right.
person could jump up and it's changed it. And so, yeah, often we'll work with people where they will recognize, hey, look, our culture is not what we want it to be. Um, there's people who are like, oh, our culture is great and we want it to be better. There's people who are like, oh, we know our culture is bad and we don't care because we're making
Or
money.
the other one is like, I know my culture, and when I see a fit, I trust my gut. That whole gut feeling versus data that you started the conversation with the data, right?
Yeah,
See, there's
yeah,
a lot of people out there that say, "Oh, I trust my gut. Don't worry about the data. When I see something and I think it fits, I know it fits."
yeah. And I've personally hired like over 40 people in my career, which there's some people who've hired way more, but that's more than most people ever hire.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at hiring. I also, have made mistakes where that have cost a company $1 million because I followed my gut and we hired somebody that on paper was amazing and was totally not a fit for the team, and tanked the productivity of 8 people for months.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. And it happens all the time.
But those mistakes are happening every day, right? I mean,